Welcome to the Art Den, where we meet all kinds of artists who create all kinds of art. We gain an insight into their lives and find out what inspires them. I'm Judy.
And I'm Nabila.
And we're co-presenting today. And we are both delighted to welcome to the studio Alice Gribble, a full-time Lino cut print artist and community craft workshop host based in Huddersfield. Having worked for 10 years as a qualified dispensing optician, Alice resigned from her job in July 2024 to run her business, Pickled Pennies Prints, and to develop a program of workshops called Art is for Everyone. She has a deep personal belief in the importance of inclusivity. Her view is that art should celebrate diversity and nourish everyone's sense of self, and that it shouldn't be off limits for anyone due to money shortage, background, or accessibility issues. Join us as we delve into Alice's experiences as a printmaker and workshop host and discover the stories behind her artistic journey. Hi Alice, thank you for joining us today.
Hi, good morning Bo, thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Okay, great, so let's crack on the questions. Over to you, Nabila, to ask the first one.
Could you tell us about your background and how you became a printmaker and a workshop host?
So I've been doing art my entire life, and in the last 10 years I've been working a normal 9-to-5 job, but I got to a point where with my mental health, a 9-to-5 job just wasn't working for me anymore. And I've always fallen back on art as something of a comfort to me. Yeah. So it made sense to make the change into becoming a full-time printmaker. I actually only started printmaking in 2022, which is when I started my business. And out of all of the arts and crafts that I've tried, it's the one that's really stuck.
God bless you.
Brilliant. Yeah, they were great. So you set up Pickled Pennies Prints in 2022. And you went full-time in July 2024. What are some of the challenges you faced in setting up and running your business?
So the main thing really was trying markets and vending at art fairs for the first time. Mm-hmm. So I started off with very few prints to sell that weren't very high quality because I had just started, but I really wanted to get my art out there. And one of the first markets I did, I managed somehow to get into the York Shambles market. Outdoors, wow. Freezing cold, for 6 hours, I didn't sell a single thing. So with markets, it's very hit and miss, and it's quite easy to become discouraged if you have one where you don't sell anything or you don't sell much. But ultimately, you just have to take in that experience, learn from it, alter your prices, alter what it is you're presenting to people, and try again, because it is such a changeable thing.
Absolutely, yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's really. So could you describe some of the other challenges that you faced in your life and how art has helped you to overcome them?
So I'm a very anxious person, and I struggle a lot with anxiety and social anxiety. And art has always been a safe place for me in terms of my mental health and my personality. I've always been someone who's felt a little bit kind of different. I've struggled to find somewhere where I really fit in with others. But in making art, I don't experience anxiety in the same way that I do outside of my creative space. And in doing things like markets, workshops, I've managed to network with a lot of artists who are the most like-minded people I've ever come across in my life. So it's been valuable for me in finding support and helping me feel more like a normal person, if you like, rather than someone who's a little bit out there. It's helped me to find my people in doing art and making art.
Brilliant.
That's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Yeah.
What themes and ideas do you explore in your work, and where do you find your inspiration?
So a lot of my inspiration comes from nature. I find that it doesn't really matter whether you take 1 or 1,000 steps outside of your front door. There are these worlds to explore. It might be something within a puddle with lots of little insects and characters who are there ready to tell a story, or it might be the birds in the sky taking up all that space and creating an image there. So there's inspiration everywhere in nature. And I also find a lot of inspiration from fellow artists, peers who work in similar media.
Perfect.
In addition to being a printmaker, you host craft workshops. Could you share with us some of your experiences of running workshops in the community?
Yes, so I've been doing not-for-profit art and craft workshops. So this isn't just to do with printmaking. I try and touch on lino printing, but they actually cover a diverse range of arts and crafts, so that everyone gets to try something that they enjoy, maybe try something new. It's clearly been very valuable for the people who participate in these workshops. I had a lady who said that since we tried leaf printing, which is a form of relief printing, she felt encouraged to bring down her art materials again for the first time since her husband had passed away. So I thought that's just wonderful that the door has been opened again for her to feel able to create and not just sit at home and kind of, you know, waste that time in her life when she could be creating and making something. And then in another group, a lot of the ladies were Pakistani, and not all of them are English speakers as a first language. Some of them, in fact, speak very little English at all. So in one of our sessions where we were learning macrame, I thought, well, it's going to be hard work if I just try and demonstrate what I'm doing. I need to be able to communicate. So with the help of these women, I learnt a few words of Urdu in order to help instruct the ladies who didn't speak English. Yeah, so I was there going, upar niche dae bae.
Oh, really?
You know,
oh, that's cute.
And it was just, it really strengthened the atmosphere in this group.
And the bond.
Exactly, because I was able to communicate with these ladies in a way that I hadn't before.
Oh, wow.
And we had some very interesting discussions about language, about culture. And it was funny that I had been taught to ask, how are you? Say, Tico.
Yeah, Tico.
But then they said, no, we'll teach you to say it properly. Appa kaise hai?
Kaise hai.
Yeah. So it was nice. It was like having, you know, mothers, grandmothers around.
Oh.
Because they were teaching me like a child to say things the proper way. And then
sweet.
I wasn't just there to be a teacher showing them what to do and telling them what to do. I was communicating with them so that they could create something, and we were on a level playing field, which is what I want from these workshops.
Lovely.
How wonderful.
Fantastic.
Fun story.
Really good. Brilliant.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about the benefits of art and creativity for mental health and well-being?
So I think it's huge. From a personal point of view, I find that art overrides anxiety. When I'm in the process of printmaking, I don't feel anxious because I'm focused on something that I enjoy, and I can get carried away with the making part. From a broader point of view, like with the workshops, it's massively beneficial for people to get out of the house, come and meet others of similar age groups or backgrounds in their local community and share experiences. We've had ladies at some of my workshops who have had concerns about health issues or, you know, being diagnosed as pre-diabetic, that they're quite anxious about. And in discussing these personal problems, they go away feeling like a weight has been lifted. So it's not just about making art. There are lots of connections to be made by coming together as artists, whether you barely know how to hold a pencil or if you're a Picasso, it doesn't matter. You can find people who are like-minded and bond with them, as I have by meeting artists at markets and art fairs.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Could you expand upon your views about inclusivity and accessibility?
I always try and ensure that my workshops are accessible for everyone. So this is accessibility in terms of people's backgrounds. So it doesn't matter what your age is, your gender, your cultural background, your financial background, anything like that. It also comes down to accessibility in terms of disability. So I try to ensure that any activities we undertake are accessible for everyone. So if you have additional needs in terms of mobility, whether it's your hands are stiff because of arthritis, you have neck issues, or you can't stand for long periods, every activity is designed with that in mind so that everyone can achieve the same end result, despite any additional needs they may have. Because I really want art should be a safe space, really, for everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
There shouldn't be any boundaries in creating art. You don't need money, you don't need standing, you just need a few materials and some time.
And a desire.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's brilliant.
If somebody told you they didn't want to make art because it won't be any good, what would you say to them?
I would say that practice never makes you worse. And the best thing to do is just start. And I've got some friends who are very artistic. I think they're better than me, but they'll occasionally go, oh, it's just not going right. I don't like it. I feel like it's going to end up going in the bin. And I'll say to them, so do that. Make a piece of art for the bin.
Oh.
And then if you have it in your mind that there's no commitment, there's no pressure, because you're only going to throw it away anyway, the chances are you'll end up with something that actually you want to keep and that you're not going to put in the bin. So a lot of it is just doing it anyway and trying and making something without a fear of making mistakes or it not being perfect.
Wow.
That's a good one. Yeah, I've not heard that one before.
That's
a
same
great
here.
one. Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Sorry, go on.
No, you say it.
I was doing this little workshop and like people were drawing and colouring like orangutans at the exhibition. And there was this little 4-year, probably 4 years, he said he didn't want to do it, it won't be any good. And, I said, it won't be any good, just do it.
Well, that's it. Actually, that reminds me of one of the girls who occasionally comes to my workshop sessions. She's a young woman with Down syndrome. And anything that she is faced with, she'll go, this is easy. She has such confidence. She doesn't worry about how it might come out. She's not in her own head like I am. I want things to be perfect. Yeah. But she was just there going, this is easy. I'm loving it and enjoying every moment. And it just shows that if you take something on with the point of view of a learner or as a beginner where you can just have fun and you're not concerned about it being perfect and you just think, oh, I can just have a go. Yeah. Then you end up with some really great results.
Nice. Yeah, brilliant. That's really good.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
beautiful.
Great. Could you tell us about artists you admire or artists who have influenced you?
Yes, so I think before I started networking with other artists, I was looking to greats of the past. So Hiroshige is a Japanese printmaker from a few centuries ago, truly a master in the art of printmaking that I could never hope to get close to, but the images are incredible in terms of intricacy, composition, color. So from a printmaking point of view, that's a big inspiration. There's some amazing work there. More recently, there's the Studio Ghibli films by the artist Miyazaki. There's some incredible world building in those films, and the use of color and characters is intriguing to me, and they always feel like magical realms to be explored, and it's very inspiring as an artist. Nowadays it tends to be from my peers that I've met through art fairs or online, printmakers who are using similar media to me, but obviously their brains work in a different way to mine. In particular, a good friend of mine, Emma Greckle, who is a Canadian printmaker. She shows incredible discipline in her art making and devotion to furthering her progression as an artist. She's always painting, she's always drawing, she's always printmaking, and really working hard to progress. And I find that very admirable. So she's a big inspiration for me, and also a reliable friend when it comes to swapping ideas about artwork, printmaking, and personal life.
Yeah, brilliant. That's great. Could you tell us about your process for creating prints?
So I start off with an illustration. I'll draw out the image that I want and then transfer it onto the Lino block. Once it's transferred onto Lino, I can start carving out using hand tools. You carve out the areas that you don't want to print, and in that process you effectively are making a giant stamp.
Right.
And when this is ready to go, I'll roll out some ink, roll it onto the block, and then print onto paper or card, depending on what I'm using at the time. And then you peel away the paper, and that's when the magic happens and you reveal the final print.
Nice.
I sometimes hand burnish my prints, so I will press on the reverse of the paper by hand, or if I'm making a lot of copies of something, or it's a bit bigger, I'll use my A3 press, which is something I have at home.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that's great. So when and where do you create your prints? And how easy is it for you to stop once you've started?
I do all of my printmaking at home. I wouldn't like to call it a studio because that's certainly too grand a term. But I have a craft room, which is about the size of this, which I share with my partner who enjoys painting miniatures. So I have a portion of a desk where I do all of the work from sketching right through to printing, with a little homemade washing line with little bulldog clips to dry my prints. So
nice.
Yeah, that's where the magic happens. And it is hard to stop once I get started. If I'm working on carving a piece that's going to take me 10 or more hours, I'll find a podcast to listen to. I'm a particular enjoyer of true crime videos on YouTube or gaming videos. So they'll always have something I can listen to while I work away, and it's a very relaxing work environment to have.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Yeah, it's great. Thinking about your finished works, can you describe one that makes you feel particularly proud or happy? And can you tell us why it makes you feel that way?
Yes, so I've actually brought in my favourite piece, which is the Froggy Parade here. It took a long time to conceive this print and to get it planned and to carve it as well, of course. But it really represents a lot about me in that it has all these little characters. There's a lot happening, lots of bugs and plants and flowers. And it's something that's very close to my heart because it represents the nature that I really love. And it was quite a labour of love in creating the print itself.
Lovely, lovely. Yeah, I had a look at that photo. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So nice.
It's
gorgeous,
It's got a storytelling element that I really like about it as well.
The Froggy Parade. What's going on
so
there?
There's a group of frogs that are carrying a sunflower across the garden and being watched over by lots of little insects and critters dotted around.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's so sweet.
I know.
That's really
Where
great.
can people see your work?
So the best thing to do is to follow me on Instagram or Facebook under Pickled Pennies. If you want to see me in person or buy any of my prints, come and see me at a market. So I'll often be vending at art fairs locally in Huddersfield, quite often in Leeds, and sometimes Manchester as well. And there are links to my Etsy store on there.
Fantastic.
You can also find me at Pickled Pennies on Facebook.
Brilliant.
In terms of your personal identity and your sense of who you are, how important to you is being a printmaker?
It's massively important to me. Art has always been something I've come back to throughout my life, in even the hardest times. So it's important for me to keep making art and keep printmaking nowadays. because it keeps anxiety at bay and it's helping me to meet some wonderful people.
So finally, to sum up, why do you make prints?
Well, I enjoy the process. I'm satisfied with the results, and it helps my brain work, and it's just a fun thing to do, and I find inspiration in a lot of places and people and things.
Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's really great.
That's amazing.
That's really great.
Thank you, Alice, for joining us today on The Art Den. It's been great speaking with you, and we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. And to you, the audience, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to Kirklees Local TV on YouTube to get our latest videos first. And we'll see you again soon.
Bye
for now.